All right, here we are in the Garmin booth with Chris. Chris, who are you?
Well, my name is Chris Hendricks. I'm a senior classroom instructor for Garmin aviation training. I do specifically courses for maintenance, so I teach people how to both install and maintain our gear once it's inside the aircraft.
Yeah, and you are an AMP and you work on airplanes.
That's correct, yeah. Big fan of airplanes, especially the vintage stuff. Anything I can do to keep them flying, right? That's
what
the
is
goal.
your favorite aircraft out there that's flying with Garmin in it right this moment,
My
Chris?
favorite aircraft of all time is, of course, the Lockheed P-38 Lightning. Nothing else is as elegant, nothing else is as beautiful, and the Volair is the most beautiful flying example of that, which currently has Garmin equipped in it right now.
Exactly,
Which is
that's the only one. That's the only
excellent.
P-38 of any kind that's got Garmin in it, right?
Yeah,
so
love
yeah,
that
absolutely,
aircraft.
we love it. All right, thanks for that. Okay, so we're going to talk about connectivity,
Sure.
and this is actually like a really cool intro into PlaneSync. So
Yeah.
what is PlaneSync and the GDL60?
So PlaneSync is the marketing term that we're putting to our remote database update program provided by our Garmin Data Link, or GDL60. So here's the actual GDL60 itself. This is the GA60, the antenna that we use for the GDL to speak on LTE. So what this does is when you're not around, when the aircraft is asleep in the hangar at like 2 a.m. for instance, you're not planning to fly, so the GDL60 will go query the cloud for new databases for your aircraft. A few things that come along with that are our battery budget, right? So we don't ever have to worry about the GDL60 taking more taking more power from the aircraft than what it needs to do its job, and that's just downloading the databases, right? Mm-hmm. So that's its primary function. When you turn the aircraft on, the next time you go to fly, the aircraft will then query the GDL60 and then get that database update, and that's the primary function.
Yeah.
Another fantastic feature of PlaneSync is what we call remote aircraft status, right? So you've landed the aircraft, you ask the FBO to make sure that they topped off the
which
fuel.
you can literally do
and,
on your watch.
Yeah,
like
100%.
I can log it on right there and see 300 Foxtrot Victor and see what's going on with it.
Yep, gives you positional information. So in that case, GDL60 is then providing power to one of the displays in the airframe, preferably the one that has the EIS connected directly to it.
Yeah.
So we can get that outside air temperature, we can get that fuel quantity indication, right? And then of course GPS information, usually provided by the display, because there is of course GPS in the display.
It's next level connectivity essentially.
100%, yeah.
So okay, we've got the ability to manage databases with no touch.
100%, yeah.
100%
Hands-free
no
database
touch
management.
database management.
That's
then
right.
On top of that, you have the ability to remote access. If it's set up in a certain way, you have
Correct.
remote access services, or RAS, because Garmin likes to put an acronym for everything.
We do our best.
Right. There is an acronym for everything.
That's right.
All right, and then on top of that, let's talk about the other connectivities that come out of the PlaneSync solution.
So the kind of the tertiary or a third option that you get with PlaneSync is automatic logbook updates provided by GDL60.
Right.
So once you land the aircraft, if you have direct access to Wi-Fi, it will transfer that information into the cloud and then update immediately on your flag Garmin, which is going to be great
LTE
for.
as well.
Yeah, it does. Yes.
Yeah.
And so that'll connect to third-party maintenance organizations for your maintenance tracking, and then of course, let's say for instance that you're my customer, you come to my dealership, I can initiate a handshake between your flag Garmin.
Let's say they go to Volar Avionics.
That's a great shop I've heard of. Yeah. So between the service center shop and the customer aircraft, we can have a handshake in flag Garmin, and then when your aircraft lands, I can be alerted to the fact that a flight has taken place.
Right.
Let's say you had a hiccup on the flight that you weren't sure of, you want me to check something out. I don't need to ask you for data logs. They're already in flag Garmin, and I can have access to those, depending on how you set up the user management as the owner of the aircraft master record.
And that can be separated at any time. It's no big deal
Correct.
to do.
Yep.
But what I love, because I'm a big fan of engine information systems, or EIS, right? Like, I love how every time I finish a flight, it automatically uploads to Savvy.
Yeah.
So that's something that PlaneSync does in 300 Foxtrot Victor, the Mooney that we have, right? So tell us how that works.
So like I was talking about, that is that automated logbook update, right? And since your flag Garmin has that handshake, in this case with Savvy or any one of our other maintenance maintenance organizational third-party vendors,
Right.
they're automatically getting that download of that data, so they can do tracking, trending. They can do some people use it for their insurance every year. Like, oh, I flew this many hours, and I know that because my
Right.
aircraft logged all this time.
Right.
So it's just one less thing that the pilot has to worry about. One more thing that Garmin can provide our customers for the connectivity side of PlaneSync.
Yeah, and with PlaneSync, that it also provides the same services essentially that the FlightStream 510 used to provide, or still does
Correct.
provide,
And it expounds
which is
upon
the
that.
Connect function as well.
Yes.
So inside the cockpit, I
Yes.
am completely connected, whether it's with this phone I'm holding
Yes.
or my iPad or any of a number of devices, right?
Correct. Yeah, via both the Bluetooth handshake like we established with the FlightStream 510, and with the Wi-Fi connection like we also have in the FlightStream 510. However, GDL60 does that with a much greater veracity, because it's the size of the antenna is almost 20 times the
Right.
total physical size of the antenna. So the length of connectivity is much more robust.
Yeah.
The connectivity inside the aircraft is much more achievable, much more
Right.
attainable. And so, yeah, the GDL60 really does a great job of making sure that all the things that we tell you can do with Connect, it also takes the place of Connect inside the cockpit, and provides the PlaneSync functions as well.
And for someone who is really like trying to get the most out of maintaining their aircraft, maintaining their currency, keeping everything correct, there's just no doubt about it that the PlaneSync technology is next level stuff.
It's next level stuff.
There's really nothing like it. So,
Yep.
anything else from like just what you've seen from a maintenance perspective of how this helps the
Well,
the
a fun
owners?
story I like to tell. While we were still developing GDL60, we were working on a certification for the GA61 antenna, which is actually an externally based antenna,
Right.
as opposed to the GA60, which is internal to the aircraft. And being an old RF guy myself, I was under the impression that you probably have a much better connectivity scenarios with the external antenna.
Yeah.
Well, that comes with a bit of a trade-off, right? So you're going to have to deal with probably a designated engineering representative to get punctuation into the pressure vessel of an aircraft.
Right. Yeah.
And then I was told, let's just see what our user market tells us, right? So this immediately got released into the Dyer market and the Piper market with the M600.
Right.
There's several of these operating now. I believe Sirius is an industry partner with us on this project as well. And all of those user communities have been so extremely positive with their feedback, both on the user side and on the maintenance side. So they're able to both keep those subscriptions rocking and rolling, and have had like no connectivity issues with the GA60 antenna,
Yeah.
which is inside the
We're
aircraft.
doing
It's
great
a little
with
bit
it.
insane.
We haven't had any issues at all.
Yeah.
So I'm a huge believer in the GDL60. The
Sure.
problem is, honestly, Chris, it's a little bit hard to like explain sometimes. That you gotta get someone's attention to
Right.
explain it. Anyway, that's why I appreciate you taking the time to, making that information available.
My pleasure.
So yeah.
Anything
Okay.
to keep them flying.
All right, awesome.